You're listening to Podcast PXN,
a video game podcast
delivering player experience news.
Let's go! PXN does whatever a podcast can. And welcome to Podcast PXN, episode 214. I am one of your hosts, the independent video essayist, on hiatus from Portland, Oregon. Hold on. The hiatus is to the video essay part, not the Portland part. I'm definitely not on hiatus from Portland. I still live here. Christian Macias, and I'm joined over Discord by Kentucky's #1 Spartan PXN founder, Daniel Prindle, aka Dan is DTM.
Bitey.
Bitey. If you could have said anything, man.
I know.
Anything.
I thought that whole time for something
You
cool,
did?
and that's the best thing I came up with. So.
And the president of the Tifa Lockhart fan club. He is the Nintendo aficionado and artist extraordinaire. Congratulations on 1,000 subs at Roro.
Yes, thank you. Hello. Hi. I don't have anything clever to say either. I don't know why I was making fun of Dan.
And lastly, bestly, one half of the Men in Gitch podcast, Battlefield's bad boy, the Tarkov Teletubby himself, Genki, Gage Dempster.
Genki, are you sure we have permission to use this?
Oh, that sounds a lot like a surveillance, and we don't do that.
Jesus Christ.
That's really good.
Yeah, this is what we're getting, Ro. I had to listen to these two fucking
I'm so
do
sorry
this
for
the
topic
other
of the
night.
show. I'm so sorry in advance.
Wait.
Yeah, anyway. Thank you to everyone watching us live and participating in the chat. Glenn?
Oh.
You here? Just as a reminder, though, we are live each and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Just search Podcast PXN. And also find us on twitch.tv/podcastpxn. Housekeeping! I just include this on my personal document. There's no housekeeping. I guess I should say this. I've been gone for the podcast for a while. Full transparency. They eliminated my position at work. So I've been unemployed for 3 weeks, updating the resumes, making new cover letters, and making new blog posts. I was working on a video essay that I showed to Ro, and then decided if I want to get a writing job, I have to update my blog posts. So I decided to stop working on my video essay, start writing some more articles about AI and Hope Core. It sucks. Anyway, topic of the show this week.
But I'm
sorry?
upset. I said I'm glad that you're writing, but I'm also upset that you stopped working on the video.
I am too. It was coming up pretty hot.
I can't wait.
Topic of the show this week is, get your web shooters out, Spider-Man 2 impressions so far. All four of us have been playing it to various degrees. We're going to unpack that.
Whoa, what?
Why did we get a new Toby line? Who uploaded this?
Spider-Man. I don't know who did that.
Ro.
I
It
don't know.
must
Who
have been
did
Ro.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 100% Ro. 0% chance it was anyone else.
Yeah. But first, though, the show always starts with the PXN news of the week. Go ahead and jump right in. A lot of quick bites this week. Most everything today is in quick bites so that we can spend more time just unpacking our thoughts so far on Spider-Man 2. That's where the interest is this week. Kind of a slower news week anyway. At least until some new games come out like Alan Wake 2. But until then, some quick bites. Fans will play a key role in the future direction of Insomniac series. This is asked after a potential video spin-off game of Venom. Kind of interesting. You don't see a lot of, studios in general taking notes on what fans are wanting necessarily to decide on what to do next. But it seems like if Insomniac is kind of listening to their fans to say, if, hey, they want a Venom game, we might just do it. Interesting.
I just want any game from Insomniac because they're all good. I mean,
So yeah, at this point, I trust them.
Yeah. I trust them to make some corny ass shit. I'm kidding. I'm saving that for talk of the show.
he's saving it for
we
the
got-
topic of the show, but meanwhile, every single segment.
It's teasing. It's called foreshadowing. It's a very advanced cinematic technique, and you would understand.
I wouldn't understand. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Speaking of Spider-Man 2, though, some Spider-Man 2 physical copies are failing to install. I haven't had this problem. I went digital. I think who went physical here? I know Dan went physical. You're fine, obviously.
Digital.
No, you went digital.
Yeah.
Oh, 'cause the collector's
is
edition-
digital. Yeah.
Okay. Gauges.
Digital.
Row?
I haven't bought the game yet, actually.
Wait, what the fuck?
What?
I thought you've been playing.
No, I haven't been playing. I've been watching my friend play, but I haven't been playing it.
What kind of
What?
shit is this? I thought you've been playing.
This is
No?
wild. The three of us were talking about this, and Dan mentioned, I think this is last weekend, and Dan was like, "Oh, well, we'll have to see if Ro's playing it." I was like, "There's 0% chance that Ro's not playing it," and all three of us were like, "Yeah, of course, Ro's playing it. Ro's definitely playing it."
Bro has not played it.
Wow.
That's insane.
I know.
You're really not playing video games, huh?
I'm not playing video games. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's foreshadowing for what you got for me.
Yeah, exactly. God damn it. I'll probably be playing this in December. But yeah.
I
have not
immediately
played it
lost
yet,
all
but
my
I-
Steam.
But I haven't played it, so I can't talk on a gameplay level, but I have been watching my friend play from beginning to where he is right now, so I know
Why?
a lot of stuff. Pardon?
Why? Why are you doing this?
Why am I watching
Why
my
are you,
friend
why are
play?
you watching him play?
Because I can't play it right now.
But all the time that you're watching him, couldn't that just be you touching the
I'm
controller
working
instead?
while I'm playing. I don't think we should spend time on this part
That's crazy.
until we get to topic of the show.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Because I was gonna save it until then. But
Okay.
I was gonna pitch doing a spoiler cast next month, but I don't know if we can do that anymore without you.
you literally can. I'm telling you that I have been watching
Look
the
behind.
game
Turn
so
around
I
right
can
now.
talk to
Turn,
you
look to
guys
your left.
about it.
Look to your left behind you. You think we can do this without you? Look at this. Look at that.
This is like Skinwalker Ranch. Is this Ro? Is this actually Ro?
Ro's gonna beat the game through his friend, guys, and then he can do the spoiler.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally.
Anyway, I guess moving on then. The director of the Smash games, Masahiro Sakurai, tweeted, "I finished Spider-Man 2 and Super Mario Bros. Wonder last night.
What?
It's a problem when the release dates of big titles you should watch overlap. However, I think both are masterpieces that I can recommend to anyone. The new games are amazing, and I'm grateful to learn for making them."
Can we just ask what the fuck this man's doing? Because how the fuck did he beat both of those already?
I'm sure he got Mario Wonder early. He is
Oh,
a
that's
Nintendo employee after all, so probably that.
That's
Yeah, and then just
Yeah.
fucking had fun with Spider-Man, mainline the campaign.
Wild.
Very cool to see someone from high in the industry enjoying games on all levels. Very cool. Here's some actual news though. Square Enix. Sorry, I got a text. Square Enix has given a release window of early next year for the upcoming Xbox Open Beta for Final Fantasy XIV. Long awaited for a lot of people. So if you RPG fans want to get into FF14 on Xbox, Open Beta is coming very, very soon. Spring.
Hell yeah. That more people are getting to play it.
I threw this in here as well because I thought this was really cool. Blizzard is asking players to donate blood at their local clinic in return for in-game Diablo 4 items and a chance to win a liquid-cooled PC infused with real human blood. Insane that that's a real sentence at the end. However, I like this incentive to help local centers who are they always are requiring blood donations, and so a lot of people play Diablo. Let's get them in the blood clinic. Maybe get them a PC with blood in it.
Yeah. Pound for pound, this is definitely a very positive story, and I actually do dig it. But it's just I'm pretty sure with everything I know about the intricacies of water cooling that putting iron into it is probably not a good idea. I don't think that jives if I remember correctly. But hey, you got blood in your PC. That's kind of cool, I guess. Just
All right,
things start corroding.
we gotta stop with the B word, or I'm gonna pass out. I don't do well with that.
Actually, is it messing
I'm
with you
dead
that much?
serious. It's
That's
literally
crazy. Okay.
It's literally something that my dad fucking passed to me because he has the same reaction. I fucking wish I could donate blood, but I will literally pass out the second they jab me with anything. Yeah. Fuck.
I'll say this. I won't elaborate, but I'm technically a vampire. I'll let you make your own assumptions on what that means.
I just saw that you started licking your lips when Dan started talking about him passing out, and that the audience can just draw their own conclusions there. But
Here we go. We'll just move on for the sake of Daniel for something that he can actually talk about. The Fallout live action TV show will premiere on April 4th, 2024 on Prime Video. It comes from Kittler Films, the team behind Westworld. Daniel, how excited are you for this show?
Oh, very excited. I love Fallout. I love that world. Gage, I think, talked about how excited he was for that teaser that leaked from, I think...
I'm sorry, April 12th.
Oh, April 12th, yeah. The trailer that leaked from Gamescom, fucking the visual stuff looks really cool. It looks like it's got the visual identity of Fallout. I guess we'll see if it turns out to be good, but pretty optimistic. Gage, are you as well?
I am very optimistic, Dan. Thank you for that. I'm curious, is Christian aware that this is created, written, and show ran by Jonathan Nolan?
Oh, no shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So there's a little bit of like actual
I got a lot
reason.
of respect for Jonathan Nolan.
There's actually a reason to be hyped for this, like in terms of like proper. This is going to be an actual, TV of substance because yes, he is the lead guy on this, and he's actually taken it upon himself to get this thing going. So that coupled with the leaked teaser that I saw, this is lining up to be a fucking bullseye, in my opinion. This looks really, really good. I'm very excited.
I kind of excited too. I think generally, the projects from Christopher Nolan that I enjoy more are the ones where he co-writes with his younger brother Jonathan.
Yep.
I think Jonathan is really great. So finding out that he's doing Fallout actually might pull me in to check out this show.
Hell yeah. I love it.
Glenn asked if we're more excited for this than the Halo show. Well, I mean, fucking, I was on cloud 10 for the Halo show before we got it, not to say that I'm as down on it as others, but yeah, I think now I'm more excited for this than season 2 of Halo. Yeah.
I would agree with that.
When is season 2 of Halo coming out?
They
No
haven't
idea.
announced, probably next year, but it's already finished or near finished filming. So
Yeah, I thought I heard some rumblings about the principal photography wrapping up, but
yeah,
It's gonna be a while then because of the ongoing strikes as well. Yeah.
Right.
So okay,
very
got
true.
it. Okay. Some sad news here. Media Molecule has announced that they are laying off 50 to 20% of its staff, according to a new report. And they have a message out. Essentially, they ended Dream support earlier this year, and now they're laying off a big chunk of their studio to focus on an exciting new project. Cool to see that they're still working on something new. It sucks to see that they're having to lay off so many people. I think honestly, I don't blame Media Molecule for the rollout of Dreams. I actually, in fact, blame Sony a lot because yes, it was very hard to market that game, but there's still a lot they could have done beforehand,
PC.
during, and go ahead.
sorry, PC port.
Yeah, of course. PC port would have been huge. Or even including this game as some kind of PlayStation Plus deal, like way earlier, to get like more people involved, get like more creation on the ground. Yeah, it sucks to see them having to abandon it because it was great. I played it for a while and I had a lot of fun. I hope that whatever they do next, they get the actual support from
Yes.
Sony to make it a proper like platform game. You know what I mean? A game for their platform.
It's strange to me that Sony. It seemed like from Sony's side point of view, with Media Molecule and Dream specifically, it was almost like a half measure situation where they gave them full creative control to make this very hard to market, very niche game, but they weren't fully behind them when it came to pitching that to the Sony fan base. Like they should have been, like you said, they should have been PS Plus. They should have done. Sony should have been with them for getting a PC port on, like getting that going. They should have been helping with advertising. Like if you're gonna say like, okay, we're gonna allow you to spend however many resources you're gonna do to make this weird game, you might as well at least be in your corner to pitch it. And it seemed like that's where Media Molecule or Dream specifically really fell flat. So I agree with you totally. It's very strange, and it sucks because Little Big Planet were fucking amazing games. Like this is a talented studio that does have really good products in their backlog, and it kind of sucks that Sony seems to kind of just felt like very half measure in terms of Dreams and how Sony backed that. So hopefully this doesn't kill the studio, and it sucks for all the people laid off. I hope that they land on their feet somewhere.
We do have. Go ahead, bro.
I agree. I hope that they get the support that they deserve, but it feels like this is like the next the next studio that's going to close down, unfortunately. That we're going to be like, oh my god, remember Media Monaco back in the day? It's just that's how I feel right now. I hope it's not, but the way that they didn't support Dreams, and what the game before that was Tearaway on Vita. That didn't do super great. Then again, it was trapped on the Vita,
Right.
But I don't know. Hopefully, their next game is a huge success and they're able to keep running. But yeah,
I guess just this sounds horrible to say, but like I'm almost a little bit surprised that it didn't close sooner. Like I don't know like how much leeway they have. I don't know. I guess when you have supported like Sony consoles like the Vita with Tearaway, you kind of have a little bit of pull to do more stuff in the future. Yeah, I don't know. I would have loved to see like even like Dreams make it to VR too. You know, if they did have like that support, I think having that in VR two would have been kind of a bigger push. There's no real push for VR two. That's a separate conversation though. But yeah, anyway, I hope whatever they do next is backed by Sony properly, and I hope it's big with the crowd because I agree with Gage. Little Big Planet was super fun. Moving on. Some Microsoft news, some good news. Microsoft has reported a record Q1 for gaming revenue, partly driven by the release of Starfield. I know they also saw a big increase in the amount of like Game Pass subscribers the day that this released as well. So Starfield actually doing huge for Microsoft as an exclusive title.
Yeah. Also, I mean, this is a record quarter for them, but next quarter is probably going to be even more of a record quarter because it'll be the first time
Call of Duty.
Yep, with Call of Duty. So yeah, good news for Starfield though. And Game Pass.
That's I think Phil Spencer was on stage somewhere this past week, saying how excited he is for first party title like Call of Duty to come out. Which sounded very weird to say, because like this is like just barely going through, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, he's technically not wrong.
True. He's not wrong. That bothered me a little bit too, though, where because it's like, you know what's gonna happen with this Call of Duty, and I would say even the next one probably Phil Spencer has very little to do with in terms of the success of it. But he's going to be there singing the praises of it, like, look what we brought for you. And it's kind of like, but did you, or was it already on its way out?
This is like if I bought like one of those like Papa John's ready to go pizzas or whatever, and then like my friend stuck it in the oven, and then I came over and I was like, look at what I made.
Right.
Check this shit out, boys.
You know what I'm interested to see though? I don't think people give Call of Duty enough credit for what it does for the casual gamer in terms of swaying their opinion, because I feel like
it's true.
Yeah, because I feel like, Microsoft had the exclusivity agreement with Call of Duty in the Xbox 360 days and like the first year or so of Xbox One. And Call of Duty sold by and far better on Xbox because of their marketing partnership and the month early exclusivity. But then Sony, of course, took it over, and they've been killing it in that same time span that they've controlled the marketing. Now, obviously, there were other factors at play as well, but I think it's going to be interesting to see if now that Microsoft once again holds the marketing push for Call of Duty starting with next year's game, despite it not having exclusive content like Phil said, will that push people like the casual gamer to play on Xbox instead of PlayStation? Like, will that change the narrative for them? I don't know. It's going to be an interesting thing.
But it might down the line once they have like the proper like catalog of games that they can then offer all or most or some of them on via Game Pass. Yeah, I think having that on the box like in stores is going to be huge. Maybe not. Obviously not this year. Who knows if even by the end of next year, but by like 2025, things would look a lot differently for Xbox. And yeah, you're right, Dan.
It'll be interesting to see when at the launch of the next console generation too, if even just like Phil said, if he does actually, and I think he will, if they do actually get console parity, there's no exclusive anything. I do wonder, like what Dan's saying, if just for the next Xbox, whatever it's called, just having that splash screen of saying Call of Duty, you know, home on Xbox. Like this, if that'll be enough that we start seeing the dial shift back towards.
Dude, all it takes is like for a couple of commercials to play during like some NBA or NFL games, and there you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're right.
There you go. Okay. 2 more stories left on Quick Bites. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater gets a new trailer that was out today. We also found out it's under development using Unreal Engine 5. Game looks good. Looks very pretty. I don't have much else to say. I do know. I think it's also coming to Xbox. I don't remember if that was confirmed or not before today.
Yeah.
I hope so.
It
was in their partner presentation.
Yeah.
It was during the it was during the partner presentation. But yeah, one would hope. Cool.
That's cool. It looks good.
Ro, I put this in there for I kind of partly put this in there for you because I know you're like replied to some video essayist who's doing a like Metal Gear lore video that I think you might check out. So I don't know. Are you interested in all? I know Metal Gear Solid Collection just came out as well this week. Are you interested in maybe dipping your toes into the world of Metal Gear anytime soon?
Yes, definitely. I want to give it a shot. I've been wanting to play them for a long time, but never had access to them, or the ones that I do have access to aren't really that good looking. So I'm glad that they're getting a re-release. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in the collection. I've heard some mixed things about it, at least the Switch version. So I've been kind of waiting until that settles down before I make a purchase. But yeah, I'm definitely interested in getting into Metal Gear for sure.
You should play Revengeance. That game's fun.
I've heard
you would like
it.
Yeah.
Yes, that one.
That's the one with the katana, and you can choose how to slice things.
Yeah. Very cool. Very good game.
Is that like a standalone one? Do I need to play the
Make
other
America
ones
great again.
to play that one?
It's after Metal Gear Solid 4, which is like the end of like the timeline per se. But it is pretty standalone. Like there's not really any mention to like the other games necessarily.
Do you want the honest answer, Rashan? I tell you the honest answer. Do you want the honest answer?
Sure.
You can play all the Metal Gear Solid games,
Anytime.
and you still won't understand what's going on in this one, so it doesn't matter.
You will. You don't listen to that, Ro.
You know what? Even better, Ro. Just watch your friend play Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, there you go.
I could do that. I could do that.
Nice.
I watched that video essayist that I replied to. I watched part of his video, and I'm still confused as to what is going on. So I think I just need to. I do need to play it, or watch my friend play it. One of the
So, do you know which snake this is in Metal Gear Solid Delta?
A big snake.
Solid snake. Is near there?
Dan is the closest.
Big boss.
Frozen.
There we go.
Oh.
Boom.
I have a legitimate question. So wait, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. I was under the impression this was a remake of 3, but this is its own game. Oh, it is, but they're just calling it something else.
They're calling it Metal Gear Solid. They're calling it Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Why? Who knows? It's the same game. There's no change. Why the name change?
Okay.
Who the fuck knows? Konami, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Right.
It's the same thing. They're not changing anything.
Okay.
Taking a page out of the Kingdom Hearts notebook. I like it.
Technically, also it's Naked Snake. But anyway. Last quick bite. Everyone watch this TikTok while we talk about it. I'll describe this to the audience. There's a man on TikTok. His name is travel.miser, who took his MetaQuest 3 to the gym to work out. I sent this to Gage. I don't have anything to say about this other than that is crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen videos of people using their MetaQuest to like cook, to like have like recipes, videos open on YouTube in the kitchen, which is just wild. But you know, that's cool. That's neat. That's in the privacy of your own home. In public is wild. I wonder how far we are from this kind of thing being normalized in the future.
Can I say something crazy? I kind of want this to get normalized because somebody like me who has a goblin brain who can't do things like the gym without getting bored within 5 minutes, this is the kind of stuff that I kind of actually want. Like I would like to be able to do this. I'm watching this and I'm like, and he's got, it only shows it for a second and I don't know if it's actually a fully featured app, but it looks like there's some sort of scoring system when he looks down at his dumbbells and there's like some sort of gamified version on top of him just having videos up to watch while he's working out. Like that type of stuff is the stuff that would get me to commit to the gym. And I just hate
Just
that.
go.
I
Just
know.
Don't get your headset sweaty and disgusting. Just go.
My question.
Quest 3s.
My question is like, how does it not like disorient you? Because like I've worn headsets that are like you see through the world or whatever, and you don't feel like quite stable, if that makes sense.
I think this pass through
pass-through.
is quite better. I was gonna say the pass through is significantly better. Not only just in terms of the fact that it's full color, but like I know what you're talking about. There's like this weird distortion effect with the Quest 2, where it just definitely you cannot use pass through for long periods of time. But apparently, aside from the fact that it's full color, the actual cameras are much better, and like things only get distorted when they're like really close to the camera. But aside from that, apparently it's really good and low latency as well. But
very nice.
I'm gonna do a challenge and wear my Quest 2 with pass through as I drive on the freeway.
Oh God.
While I drink
objects
beer.
are closer than they appear.
Podcast PXN does not sponsor this. Don't do that.
Manmeat does though. Use code Christian Macias Freeway for 10% off of your next order.
You'll become the man meat if you fucking wear that driving.
It's locally sourced. It's
you know what you'll become? Street meat. And speaking of which, we've got one street meat item for you today. We've got the potential art for Assassin's Creed Red. This is the code name for the Assassin's Creed game set in Japan. The art has seemingly appeared on a LinkedIn profile. I'm wondering what Dan's take is on this game. Or on this art, I should say.
Oh yeah, looks nice. And it looks like female protagonist, or maybe it's, you choose again like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But yeah, very cool. I like this theme, and she's got a little katana. Hell yeah.
I do like the way she's holding it too, like backwards, behind her head. It looks pretty cool.
And Christian, you missed it when we were talking about it the last few weeks, but fucking Ubisoft knocked it out of the park in terms of like the representation in Mirage for the. Yeah, I'm dead serious. Everyone is like applauding the representation aspect. I'm not talking about anything else game related, but like they did really good work in terms of like making you feel like you're in the world and like having authentic, languages, and I think it's really cool. I'm excited for this.
Do you think they'll do the same thing for like feudal Japan?
Yeah, maybe. Have some original Japanese. I don't know if Japanese back then was different than it is now, but
Itadakimasu. I don't know what's up. All right. PXN News of the Week. We got one item. Let's all shit talk Sony. Ready?
Yay.
PS5 Slim. Optional disk drive requires an internet connection in order to pair. Now, remember when we talked about this 3 weeks ago when I was last on the show? The optional disk drive for the PlayStation Slim. If you buy a digital PlayStation 5 and the disk drive, this costs you more than the actual physical PlayStation 5. Don't forget, you also have to buy a stand if you want to have this horizontal. Never mind the fact that they advertise all these consoles as vertical on the box itself. Already that was already weird, but the fact that you need an internet connection at all, what happens years down the line when you pick up one of these things to play some older games? Hopefully the store, you can still do that. And the network is down, or what do you do? Why? It's kind of a small issue in a way, right? Like a lot of us have internet nowadays in the gaming spheres. We're listening, and you bought the digital console, sure, but it's still like, why? Yeah. Why
is it not plug and play? Like, what's the reason? Right.
What is the reason? Because it's unnecessary.
Yep, I agree.
Christian, how I play my physical games on my Xbox? Dink. That's it. I just put it in my disk drive.
Just dinks it.
What a CD.
It's like they fucking did a meme about Microsoft doing always online for their games, and then they fucking do something for their fucking add-on that requires online. I'm like, what? Is this the same company?
Right. if we were still in that era, Xbox would have like a cheeky little video coming out where it's like, this is how you put discs in the Xbox One.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's I think this is silly, but apparently there's some like copyright, digital millennium copyright thing that they need to do this. That's what I've read. I should look into it a bit more. But besides it being
Insane.
stupid, I think that there is a legal reason that you
Look.
need to connect to the internet first before doing it.
If that's the
Like-
case, then sure. If I'm not mad at Sony, I'm mad at capitalism for the way it functions.
I think it has something to do with like not being able to replicate something. I wish I did more research, but yeah, it is stupid. It shouldn't be this way. It wasn't this way all this time. So what changed? So yeah,
Just buy the physical. Buy the physical if you're gonna buy a new PlayStation 5.
I wonder if it's like related to it like attaching and becoming like part of the console as opposed to just like
serial number registration kind of thing.
Yeah, as opposed to like just something you plug in. Like, you know, we had the HD DVD player for the 360 that was just a USB plug-in. I wonder if it's different because it actually like physically connects to the console. Like, I don't know. Yeah,
Right.
That's interesting.
I don't have much else to add other than DRM is kind of annoying, and I wish that wasn't the case for futurity's sake.
True.
Can't wait for Jim Ryan to leave. Fantasy draft check-in. I know you guys covered it last week. However, I did do one thing. I think I was the only one to do anything over the week. This is on Saturdays when those things process. So let me go ahead to Podcast PXN, fantasycritic.games, check the league history to confirm. Indeed, I was the only one that did anything this weekend. So, October 21st, my counter pick was successful. I counter picked Cookie Cutter with a bid of $4. And you may ask, why Cookie Cutter? What is Cookie Cutter? Who even has that game? This belongs to Roshan. It's an independent game that looks fantastic. I think we'll actually review very well. However,
It's not coming out.
I don't think it'll come out this year. And I kept forgetting to counterpick 2 other games that already have reviews already. So I fucked myself there. So I'm betting that this game won't come out at all this year.
very fair.
We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll
it was
see.
supposed to be a summer game. I'm pretty sure actually, and yeah, now they're not. Went kind of silent on it. That was a good one.
Pretty sure Christian's gonna win.
I don't think so. You still have a lot of games coming out. You literally have Alan Wake 2 left. You know what I mean?
I only
That's
have-
true.
Yeah, but I only have 3 games. You got a lot. You got a lot left. You still have 2 games to pick up.
I still have 2 games to pick up. That's true. I have 3 games as well left. Silk Song is probably not going to come out this year.
Ghost Runner 2 hasn't been calculated yet.
Oh, you're right. That hasn't been calculated. 154 to you're 157.
Yeah.
Oh, this is close,
That's
dude.
what I'm saying. I think you're gonna
Holy
win.
shit.
I think you're gonna win.
Oh
Unless
my
Alan Wake
God.
2 gets like a fucking 98 or something, which could happen. But
I have 3 games in my watch list that I might pick up. I'm gonna decide by the weekend which ones I'm gonna decide to pick up. I don't know. I can't speak on it though.
I want to give Gage some of my money so he buys them all. I wish I could do that.
I wish you could do that too.
Is Gage gonna get third?
No.
If Roe drops out next week, yeah.
One of my
Nice.
games, like I was telling Dan last week, betting on indies is kind of risky. The Slay the Princess game got some good reviews, but only 6 people reviewed it, so none of the points are being added.
Dang.
Sucks.
Wow.
I don't think anybody else is going to review it at this point since it's a week old now.
It'd be like that, bro.
You know what, Ro? Just start up your own establishment, get credible enough to have reviews on the site, and open
Add the
critic
one
tracks.
review that I need.
Yeah.
I think it'll be too late.
10 years later, Ro, I got you. I fucking got that review in.
Too late.
God.
Let's move on over into what you got for me.
Wait,
What?
Oh,
did you wait? Was there more? Wait, am I crazy? Or didn't something come out other than? Wait, Ghost Runner came out, right?
Yeah, Ghost Runner 2 came out, and its current open critic is at 80 right now. Thank you for that.
Yes.
And that was a pickup from me, so I'll be getting 10 points if it stays that way. Halo, Alan Wake 2, that comes out this Friday, so I think reviews are tomorrow, I believe. And I think I reckon that game is going to do very well. And thank you. And then Jusant is Halloween, so that's next Tuesday. And I'm expecting that game to do, hopefully, pretty well.
Yeah.
Previews are all really, really good for that game. Now can we move on?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
I didn't want to lose your game there, you know?
What you got for me, Daniel, this week?
What do I have for you? I talked about with Row last week. I almost beat Mirage last week. I was literally on the last part, and I was trying to get it done. Didn't quite get it in time for last week, but finished it. Boom. I finished a video game. Fuck you all. Eat shit. I beat a video game. So
you got one in there.
Yeah.
Just at the end of October, you beat one.
Hey, no, I've beat more than that this year, but yeah.
Yeah, that's based on Resident Evil 4. I remember that.
Have you beat Starfield?
No, Gage. That's a fucking that's the biggest one on my backlog.
What are you talking about? That's like a in and
You beat
out
Zelda?
fucking 20 hours done.
No, I still have to beat Zelda too, and there's a game I'm picking up tomorrow that, fucking that's gonna be added to my list, as you guys know. Alan Wake 2 Friday. Anyways. Halo Infinite Season 5, continuing to play that. Very good stuff. Love it. Keep the good work up. Thank you. And then, of course, Spider-Man 2, which we will talk about in the topic of the show.
Yes. Bro, I know you played something.
I did, actually. I played some Sonic Superstars some more. Last week I started my journey with my playthrough with Amy. I have since beaten the game with Amy, and now I'm going back with there's a secret story at the end. I don't want to spoil for anybody who may want to play Sonic Superstars, whoever that one person is. But there's a there's a secret story with a different character that I'm going through with the game with now.
I got really excited because you said you're playing this game with Amy. And I was like, oh, that must be like a lady friend that you are talking to.
No,
you meant Amy, like
child character.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
unfortunately,
a little disappointing, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I don't know Amy. Let's talk about Amy Rose. I know her very well. But that's it. That's all I've been playing.
Amy, reach out to Ro on Twitter at Roro. You're out there.
At Roro. I did something wild. I picked up Cocoon through Game Pass. This is the game developed by Geometric Interactive, and I think someone from that used to be at that game company, developers of Journey, worked on Cocoon. I think it was the graphic lead. And this game has great reviews from a lot of outlets, calling it like a great puzzle game. I gotta say, for it being a 4 to 5 hour long puzzle game, I'm not very engaged with it. It's awesome seeing the gameplay mechanics of it, like in motion, because you're walking around these little balls, and you can have like more balls inside those marbles, and so it's like nesting Russian dolls of like different worlds that you're coming in and out of to like solve a puzzle that you're on. Very cool, great music, great art, and yet something about the puzzles just feels very monotonous and not engaging to me. I'm not even stuck on any for very long, and I'm just kind of going through the motion. So I'm a little bit let down on it on a puzzle front. I didn't even finish it, but I think I plan to by the end of the year. We'll see. And then of course, Spider-Man 2. Gage.
Speaking of monotonous and not engaging, no, I'm joking.
Nice, dude.
What have I been playing? I've been playing Spider-Man 2. We'll get to that. And I think just Halo Season 5, which is a great season of Halo, and the game's starting to shape up and feel really, really good to play and really rewarding. So I'm playing that with Dan, having a good time. That's pretty much it. I just downloaded City Skylines 2 and booted that up and got 10 frames per second at the main menu. So we're off to a great start.
Explain some of the reviews. All right. Ro, I'm sorry, but it's time to talk about our Spider-Man 2 impressions so far. Off the bat, we're obviously not going to talk about any specific story spoilers. I think anything of that will be in a future kind of review discussion that we might do. I want to know your impressions of the game on a base level, how many hours you're in, what you're thinking of the story so far, thoughts on obviously the gameplay that Insomniac has developed for Spider-Man 2, and then any comparisons to previous entries from Insomniac. You can bring in Rift Apart if you played that as well, but specifically 2018 Spider-Man and Miles Morales. Who would like to start?
I was going to say me, just to be funny.
Ro, pick who's starting. Pick whose thoughts you want to hear the most.
I want to hear Gage's thoughts.
Oh no! Oh no! Okay, let's start with Spider-Man 2.
Now, remember, Gage, Ro loves Spider-Man, so remember our conversation.
Well, that's the more important thing. 10 minutes away as well, so I gotta balancing it.
Throw it at us.
No. I think it should be said that if we rewind 2 weeks, I, like the rest of you, was sitting at the edge of my seat waiting for this game. So I don't want to hear anything about bias or any going into this with a certain headspace. I was counting down the hours to play this game. I will reiterate.
Miles Morales.
What's that?
Just kidding.
Get his ass, bro. Cook his ass.
I stand by that Spider-Man 2018 is my favorite rendition of the Peter Parker story. I like it more than any of the movies. I fell in love with that story. I love it. Spider-Man 2 is not hitting for me, and it breaks my heart. It's not hitting for me at all. I think the gameplay is... Are we breaking this down section by section? How are we doing this?
We'll just do base right now. How are you feeling on the game?
Okay, gameplay. Yeah. It feels like kind of like Call of Duty, where it's like this is a marginal improvement. It's nothing crazy. Okay. It is. I think it is better than the old. It's better, but it's not anything. It's not anything crazy. Like it's a marginal upgrade. And then the story, I think, is a huge step back for me. And it breaks my heart to say that, but that's where the majority of my problems lie in this game. And we'll talk about it later. But I think the biggest thing for me is writing. I have since gone back and watched the entire intro of the first game. And I know that's not exactly a one-to-one scientific study, but I do feel like there is a difference in the writing in this game, specifically when it comes to Peter Parker. I didn't finish Miles Morales all the way through, so I can't speak to that. But the writing in this game sure sounds a lot like a bunch of 40-year-olds getting together and thinking, how do 20-something-year-olds talk? Let's write that down. I don't know. I feel kind of crazy. Yes. I feel kind of crazy for saying this because I was all about it like 2 weeks ago, but it's not hitting, and it's kind of crazy to me.
I'm going to jump in now because I don't want Gage to be alone. So the other night I joined a late night Discord call. I saw Dan and Gage playing games. And I just hopped in and I started randomly airing some grievances I had with Spider-Man 2 that apparently Gage felt very similarly about. And we just kind of went off about for 45 minutes about these minor little things that we're not enjoying about the game. Obviously, Dan, we'll hear Dan's thoughts in a second. He obviously disagreed, and we'll get this man's chance to speak in a second. But yeah, I totally agree with Gage. I think the story front is my biggest. When I think of 2018's Spider-Man, there's a softness to that intro. There's a groundedness. There's a sweetness that I really gravitated towards, and I love how heartwarming that story is. When I think of the sequel so far, I haven't beaten the campaign yet, but I'm about 12 hours in. It feels like I have to compare it to the MCU. It feels like the MCU sequels where it's just all right, here's the Rock concert, it's very poppy, flashy, it feels like sequel energy. And for better and worse, because the gameplay section, obviously swinging around doing upgrades to your traversal is fucking awesome. The graphics, what they're doing with getting out of the PS5 is absolutely insane. I'm still finding out new stuff. That's like when Dan told me like, hey, why don't you traverse over the water or whatever and let yourself skid, see what happens. That was mind blowing. I've been doing it ever since. But with the story front, feels very corny.
Yep.
There's a joke on Twitter of like Miles Morales producing a song for the Miles Morales video game, and everyone hates on that. And it feels like that energy from that like little side mission is put into everything in the actual game. I'm just like not finding anything very genuine or heartwarming or grounded, to be honest. There are some cool moments that I've really enjoyed so far. I'll say that I have the Venom suit on now. I guess I can say that. That gives you an idea where I'm at in the story. It's in the trailer. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's maybe been like 3 moments where I'm like, this is really cool. Everything else has, like Gage has said, hasn't really hit for me. And we'll get into minutia in a second. But Dan,
Yeah.
let's hear your differences.
Be the voice of reason. Bring it back.
Yeah.
The voice of reason. Yeah. Also, I love the Christian was like, yeah, get his ass, Ro. And then he knew full well he was about to come back and fucking have Gage's back so hard. That was great.
Christian's just playing the field. I understand.
Yeah.
I know what Christian is. I've accepted this.
Yeah. Yeah, so you've already heard, Ro, how Christian joined our Discord, and I got to listen to these two fucking bicker about Spider-Man, but that was not the worst part. The worst part was hearing these two grown-ass men going back and forth. Hey, Peter, how are you? Get over here, Peter. Like, fucking in the...
Were they even
in the-
imitating Miles? What?
Yeah, they were...
Just everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally back and forth, fucking making those voices, and I'm just like, someone shoot me, please, for fuck's sakes. Oh, Lord.
If you need help, just ask.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
Sounds a lot like surveillance. We don't do that.
Jesus Christ. All right, yes. So I'll start with what I agree with you guys on. I do think that some of the stuff, and as you play more of it, I think it becomes more evident because I played more after you guys held your grievances in the Discord. And I think the more you play it, you do pick out more of those moments where it's like super cheesy and you're just like, what the fuck's going on here? Like these two are just acting real weird. Like, I think some of the moments like that, like I think Ro would think that those moments are like super cute and like fun, like where they, they have battles with each other, or they have battles like when Miles shows up and you're playing as Peter and helps you with a little cool sequence, and then they're like fist bumping and then they might make a quip. Like some of those moments are cool, but some of them they're like, it's a little cringy. I'm like, all right, are these guys really gonna fucking just randomly hug like after a massive boss battle? I don't know.
Right.
But yes, so that's probably my grievances I agree with. Personally, I've enjoyed the story thus far. I'm only like 6 or 7 hours in compared to what you are at, Christian. I haven't gotten to the Venom suit yet. I'm enjoying it. I think I do enjoy the first game story a bit more, but that's not to say that I don't enjoy this one. So yeah, I think Harry's character is interesting and what goes on there. But yeah, for the most part, story I'm okay with. The other thing you guys were grieving about in the chat or in our Discord was the combat, which I personally really like the changes to combat that they did, and I like having like the amount of abilities that we have now, and the fact that like certain abilities are like more useful on certain enemies, and like you have certain strategies you have to do for certain enemies, like you've got to slide under some legs and then attack from behind. I feel like that changes it up quite a bit for me, and personally I enjoy that. And maybe that's like, it does become repetitive if you're doing the exact same thing to the same enemy over and over, and that does I guess not make it as nuanced, but I personally I enjoy that aspect. Christian?
No, so I'm with you there. I know Gage feels differently on that front, but my grievances is the small tweaks with combat in regards to powers and gadgets, and then the parry system. Early on, I think the way they introduce parry is we're kind of conditioned in these Spider-Man games to when you see the spider sense tingle, that is your cue to dodge, and it's been that way for years in previous games as well. And so when you're seeing when you have waves of enemies and a lot of shit going on the screen, it's hard to tell the difference between a dodge and an attack that is undodgeable and has to be parried when it's the same color or a very similar color. The difference between dark orange and a red is kind of hard to pick out in a lot of these lighting scenarios. The game looks beautiful running, but it's hard to pick out, and that's just small frustrations. And again, it's just like, I have two different buttons to keep in mind when I'm in the middle of intense fluid combat that look very similar.
See, and
the other thing, go ahead, please.
Sorry, just to add on to that, and then you can say your thing. I think that's totally fair, and I think they could do a better job of illustrating that. However, it hasn't been an issue for me personally because I look at the enemy as opposed to what action is happening on the screen. So if I see a shielded enemy, for instance, I know that I can slide under them, or if I see a big brute, I can parry them or whatever. I typically look at that kind of aspect, but you're totally right. They could make that better.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's since gotten better for me too. I've had to really think about my combat more. And when it's introduced first, it's kind of and they do throw a lot of you in the beginning. And for me, the big confusion was powers and gadgets. I don't like the changes they've made necessarily. It's a lot of menus and a lot of upgrades and a lot of things that you can swap out. And I don't know. I kind of enjoyed the simplicity of having the gadget wheel in 2018, where it's I know what gadget does what. I can just quickly change to it, and that's all I have to think about. Now I'm having to think about cooldowns and which upgrade paths that I've chosen and which ones I've swapped out for. And I've it kind of takes me out of it. And it's a lot of buttons to kind of remember when I'm in the middle of these high fluid combat scenarios. Well, it looks better, it runs better, it's more engaging, but it's also a lot more to kind of think about. And I made a joke on Twitter, somehow this game feels a bit more complicated than me playing Armored Core.
Right.
Somehow.
I think so. You actually nailed it perfectly there for me. In the first game, it felt like you just had to balance which enemies you were fighting. If you had a whole group of different enemies in the first game, it just kind of felt like, okay, I just need to focus on these enemies, take them out one by one in this certain way. And then any gadgets you had, it was just a bonus to deal with that situation easier, where now it feels like everything is integral and you have to manage it all to just survive. Now, I want to say one thing. After talking to a friend of the show, Guy, about this, I'm actually willing to concede on this, that this is a skill issue for me. Regardless of the fact that I've completed God of War, both God of Wars on their hardest difficulty, and played many other, beat Halo on Legendary, all the Halo games on Legendary. Aside from that, I'm willing to say that, okay, it's a me problem, because I do find I'm dying in this game way more than in 2018. I don't remember really having many struggles with 2018 at all, outside of maybe a boss fight for the first time. But I'm dying in this. I made a joke to Christian where, again, I don't think this is a spoiler because this is just this one type of enemy type. But at a certain point in this game, you're introduced to these killer robot dogs, and it's I breathe a sigh of relief when I see these things show up, because they're easier to deal with than 8 people with crowbars and shields. It's just, I don't know, and my brain tells me that for lore in a game that shouldn't be how I'm feeling at all, but it just feels a lot to deal with. But before we get into other stuff, I just want to say the positive things, because there are a lot of positives with this game.
Yes, I was about to switch to that.
The combat animations, and specifically the animation blending that goes on in this game, whether it be swinging or whether it be combat, is a huge step up from the first game. I noticed specifically with swinging, at first it kind of bugged me. I'm very vanilla and it's kind of lame, whatever, I'll accept that. But when they're doing all these automatic twirls and stuff, it kind of a little bit, it bugs me a little bit at first, because I was I don't, just swing straight. I'm trying to, in my head I have this scene playing out and you're ruining it. But in the first game, it bugged me a lot more, because Peter would kind of snap to these different positions if you swung at a certain interval and the animation hadn't quite finished yet. Whereas in this game, they've done an incredible job with animation blending, where it's if Miles Morales, if he's upside down and facing the camera and you swing, his kind of arm will poke out from that position and make the web, and then his body. Like, I just noticed that, like, I'm kind of really immersed in the traversal when I'm swinging in this game and just going from point A to point B. Same as we all said in the first game. It's like, why would I even want to fast travel? This just feels so good. And I've noticed that specifically with the combat, it seems to have matched that, where I've noticed that even though you're just pressing the attack button, you're not pressing any other buttons. Peter will sometimes, and Miles, they'll like vault over railings to kick somebody, or like if you're up against a wall, he'll jump off of the wall almost as if it's a dodge, but it's just because you press an attack and he happened to be close to the wall, so he jumps off of it to punch that guy. Stuff like that, I find myself like seeing it every time it happens and going, fuck, that's cool. That's really cool. So the animation team at Insomniac deserves big props. And then the other thing I just want to say before we move on to something else, the musical theme for Kraven is so good in this. When I hear it for the first time in the jungle and it's like this menacing horn sound and then it comes up through other moments, the Kraven theme is wild, man. That is so good. And I'm usually somebody who doesn't care about music and Marvel stuff at all. Nothing's impressed me for a very long time. But that matches the tone that I think we were sold for this game. And I think that's, as Christian and I will say again later, I think that's probably the biggest reason why I have such a gripe with this game in terms of its story, is that I was going into this based off of the expectations that Insomniac gave to me themselves, of that this is a much more mature game, it's much more darker and blah blah blah. And so far where I am in the story, it hasn't matched. But that Kraven theme, man, that does something to me. Does something to me, real good.
I'm pretty far into the story, and I don't think I agree yet.
And that's exactly it.
Almost, yeah.
Right, and I keep waiting. Because I haven't beaten it yet, so I'm like, maybe it will get darker. Maybe it will get darker. But it's like, I don't know. It's. I don't think it's an unjust sort of expectation to have, because it's like, this is what you guys said, so this is what I was expecting when I went into it, right? But
I'm gonna switch to some positive stuff. So I'm gonna end on one more positive note on combat that I wanted to mention, because Gage mentioned animation blending, or not noticing when a new animation starts. Those transitions. Without spoiling, there are moments when you're playing as a Spider-Man, and you're like kind of paired up with another like person, and you're fighting together, and depending on like it, I don't know what's determining it, because it's not a finisher. In the other Spider-Man games, you press circle and triangle to perform a finisher, and the very cool moves I love doing them. They always look great. You don't have to do that. You're just normal attacking, but you're finishing an enemy, and it'll go into a finisher style where you're tag teaming with the other character that you're fighting with, and it's always so cool to see the combinations that you're doing. And it's like I absolutely love seeing whenever something like that happens. It just feels cool, it looks cool. But of course, I think the bread and butter of this game is the traversal. As either of the Spider-Man, it is so fun to be swinging around, and then there's like a whole tree dedicated to like getting better and faster at traversal, doing other things. Obviously, you can improve your web wings as well. When I first used the web wings, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be using these at all. Why would I use these when I could be swinging? And then there are a lot of moments, because the map is so huge. Like, there are moments where like I'll end and I'm like, man, I'm pretty high up. There's nowhere for me to swing from here, and I got to keep going forward. This is a great. I'll use my web wings and go down and then go back up and then transition out back into swinging. And it's so fluid and so fun. And I love that Insomniac has the slider for swing assist, because it default is set to 10. And of course, if you've seen some videos on it, swing assist, when it's set to default, when you're swinging, you're largely going forward. You're not really physics based. You're not pendulum based. And when you're low to the ground, with default, you'll kind of hover for a bit. You can see the character lift up a little bit, and then this swing happens. So there's a little bit of assistance going on there. But when it's set to 0, it's entirely physics based. And I found that actually 3 is so fun, where it's like just enough where I'm like, when my swing is to the right, I'm being pulled to the right a little bit. But it's engaging enough. I'm like, okay, I'm having to think about the physics of where my swing is coming and ending from, and Dude, it's so good. And when I think about like my enjoyment for Spider-Man 2, it's like I want to get back to the city and just swing around and upgrade my suit a little bit and just like see what I can do. And I have my other little shortcut set to 30% speed, so every now and then I'll go to slow-mo mode and just enjoy like the cool animation I'm doing. Cool stuff, man.
Yeah.
Before I talk about what I think of Traversal Row, what are your impressions from watching your friend play? I know obviously you haven't played,
Yes.
but like what's your impressions of it?
I think it looks like a really good time. Obviously, I don't know what it feels like to do combat. But in terms of story and the writing, I could at least speak on that because I don't think I need to play it to speak on the story. But I think the opening scenes, like were you guys talking about the dialogue and it being cheesy? I think the opening scene was a very good indicator on how cheesy it was going to be because Peter makes like 3 jokes about giving Sandman a drink of water in 3 different flavors, and it's like, okay, you said that already. But like as time went on, I just kind of accepted it, and I had a good time watching the story. There were a few ones that I got a chuckle out of me. I just expect those quips from him, so I guess it wasn't weird. But at the beginning, it was like very heavy-handed, and I just chalked it up to it being the intro, just getting us into it. But I don't know if I love the story either. Like you guys are saying, I like the symbiote stuff. I really like that, and there's stuff later on that I really like that like are pulled from the comics, and I thought it was really cool to see that in this story. But the set pieces are what really like just blew me away. Like in the first game with like in Miles Morales with Rhino, and in Peter in this first Spider-Man game with I guess with Doc Ock and some other those really cool boss fights that I've been watching. I was like, these are insane. Like some of them are not even boss fights where he's just like traversing through like a building that's exploding, and it's like he's just doing these awesome like Uncharted levels of like cinematic stuff that I just love seeing. So that stuff was really cool. For me, I know I haven't played it, and I hopefully will be able to soon. But this game is like The Last of Us to me. So like I could play this game, I could see this game, and then when I play this game, it's like completely different. Like I feel like I'm experiencing it for the first time, even though I've seen it already. So I'm excited to play it and play it over and over again and experience the actual gameplay part. But so far the story's been fun. It's not as amazing as I was hoping, but I'm definitely enjoying where it's going so far.
Right.
I think it's neat.
I think it's important for us to all acknowledge too, like the cards are definitely stacked against them with how great the story was for 2018. To kind of, especially that order of information that we got, where it's like, oh, Insomniac's making a smart Spider-Man game. That's pretty cool. And then hearing like, oh, Marvel's actually giving them free reign. They don't have to follow any specific story or like they get to make. Oh, that's really cool. And then the game releases and we see what they did with it, and it was just sort of like this natural progression of just being impressed with the studio, and then rolling credits on that game. I'm sure the rest of like the rest of you, I was sitting there fucking blubbering like a baby, going like, "Holy crap, what an incredible ride we just went on!" So the deck was already stacked against them. To be fair, now I want Christian to kind of jump off this if you agree with me or if you think it's worthy to jump off of. But I can't help but feel like I like the concepts of the story that they're going for. I like the idea of Harry being the kind of carrier of of all this stuff happening, and the dynamics between the characters. But it's just the execution, right? Yes. Where it's like yeah, I want to like these characters, and like and without spoiling it too, they're kind of I think I might be the least far into this game out of anyone. Actually, no, I've gotten the Venom suit, so that puts me ahead of Dan. But they're kind of like doing this thing where they're trying to drive a wedge between these two characters. I won't say which ones. And I feel like the character that doesn't understand what's happening, it doesn't make sense, like with how these characters interact with everyone else, that they would interact this way with each other. I don't know. It seems like I like the concept. I like what you're trying to do. Like if there was a whiteboard somewhere that I saw, it's like, these are the ideas for the story. And I would look at that whiteboard, I'd go, yeah, this all sounds really good. And then you just play it and you hear the writing and you hear how they're getting to those points. And it's like, it's a little weak. Like, I don't know if I fully buy it.
Yeah. I can see what they're doing. So I mean, I can't speak to it because I don't know if it comes together or not. You know, I haven't beaten it. So maybe it does for me. But you know, I think so far, I 100% like the ideas they're going for. But it's the setup and the actual mission structure that's like. Anytime I feel like I'm getting interested in something, we're off to something else that like I feel like I'm not enjoying as much, or like I feel like maybe this mission could have been stronger, it didn't last as long. And yeah, there's story elements that I wish had either more time or a little bit less time. I don't know. It's very weird. And I think I need to beat it to have like more of a nuanced take. But I think largely I'm with you so far.
Right.
Yeah. The execution just a bit off. I see what they're doing, but it's just a bit off.
Right.
I almost wonder if, you know, part of the problem is, and I know you guys say that a lot of the elements you like, but the execution's lacking. But personally, for me, I feel like the biggest thing is like it doesn't feel like, especially early on in the game, there's a big antagonist. Like obviously they have to build to the moment of Venom becoming that big antagonist, but like thinking back to the original Spider-Man, I don't remember it taking this long to get to, you know, you've got your big villains, you've got, you know, Doc Ock and Lizard and all of them. So like there was so many villains in the first game that you never felt like there was, you know, you were lacking someone to like be mad at or someone to be like pushing towards to stop. And I almost feel like personally that feels like, you know, Spider-Man 2 is more of a stopgap for Spider-Man 3 because there's still some big villains that we've not seen. And, you know, I don't know if they're going to show up in this game or not, obviously, because I'm only 6 or 7 hours in. But, like, obviously, one of the biggest villains we have yet to see. It almost feels like, they're, you know, saving all of that stuff for like the conclusion or whatever for Spider-Man 3. I don't know. Maybe I'm just, you know,
now
reaching there, but
here's another issue I have with Spider-Man 2 though, is that whether or not the pacing lines up with the first game as to at this point did we already get X or Y, in this game having at least the first act protagonist be Craven, which again, not really a spoiler because that was really heavy-handed marketing, and I'm pretty sure the first reveal trailer was all Craven, right? It was that Force CGI trailer. Comparing him to say Doc Ock, he has been given zero character development, at least where I am, right? Exactly. Which is super disappointing to get a CGI trailer like that. Again, this is what they decided to show us, to reveal to us. That he has gotten zero character development. I have no idea why he does what he does. And again, I can't help but compare this not to my own ideas that I think I could do better, but comparing it to Spider-Man 2018 of like getting Doc Ock's background and his whole spiel and like that. He had tons of character development and it actually helped to the story where you're kind of going through this emotional conflict with Peter, right? It put you in the shoes of the character. And I can't help but like, Peter's going after Craven just because he feels he has to. I'm fighting all these bad guys just because like I feel like I have to. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like I'm connecting with Peter for the wrong reasons in this game, where it's like I'm just kind of going through the motion of fighting Craven. It's a bad guy with foreign accent. Get him, go get him, beat his ass.
There's been more character development for his henchmen than him, which is like you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I've battled his henchmen how many times, and I've seen him once or something.
Right. Even like dialogue right between his henchmen. It's like I feel like I've communicated with his underlings more than I've actually got to know him.
I do want to circle back to the traversal real quick because we kind of went past that, but the open world fucking fast travel. I know we talked about like we love swinging so much that we don't want to use fast travel. That fast travel is fucking insane how that works.
I did it. Yeah, it was cool though. I did do it just to try it.
Yeah, like the fact that it's so that quick and you can fucking go literally anywhere. And granted, you have to unlock the city. You have to do so many activities to unlock that ability, but it's really really cool stuff. And to answer your question, Christian, from before, I play on 10 swing assist, which is the default, and the reason why is because I purposely, and I totally, it's all personal preference, because personally I just, when I'm swinging around New York, I don't want to focus on, am I fucking hitting this right angle perfectly to get the perfect amount of momentum? My brain doesn't care about that. I just want to fucking make it look cool and have fun doing it. And not playing at 10 swing assists, you're fucking just having fun and fucking just going at it. Like and the animation is fantastic. I think IGN even posted a video where you can literally press the trigger for the web when you're literally like an inch off the ground, and Spider-Man will hover off the ground to make sure you don't hit the ground to stop your momentum. And I totally get how that can be, off-putting for people. But like for me personally, the only thing I care about is having fun swinging, and like doing that and going at the last minute is fucking awesome. I just love continuing that momentum and just, it looks really cool.
Well, put it on like 5 or 6. Just trust me, dude. Just trust me.
Just try it. Try it.
I come from playing, and of course we all do, but I come from playing the Treyarch games where my biggest gripe of the Treyarch games was the fucking positional based web slinging, because you had to fucking hit certain spots, otherwise you lose all momentum, and that would frustrate me in those games. Those games were great, don't get me wrong, but like those specific aspects, that would frustrate me. Totally get that it's not as complicated, and it's a lot easier.
No, that's fair, because it's just all about what you find enjoyable, right? It's like, because it seems like Christian and I are like, we look for the challenge in the traversal, where it's like, I want the traversal just to feel good and to get me to where I need to go and look cool while doing it. So I think that's totally fair. And again, PlayStation studios across the board have been really good at this. But yet again, I think it's just like, if there's credit to give credit. The accessibility features and the fact that they have sliders like this in this game, so that no one person feels left out and feels like they're being forced into something, is really cool. So the fact that there is this slider in the first place and gives people the option of either or is big thumbs up. Yes. But yeah, as somebody who enjoys the traversal almost as a mini game of its own, I definitely enjoy having to think.
Oh, that is the game for me, man.
Right,
that
exactly.
Is the game for me. Yeah.
Because then it feels good when you pull off that super cool looking thing, and instead of it being done for you, it's like you had to kind of plan it out. But it comes at the cost of like very regularly falling and hitting a building or doing something, and you're like, oh crap, okay, now I gotta get up. But the slingshot thing you can do, so friggin' cool. When like that does never not feel good. And like lining it up perfectly where you get a nice shot where it's like you're looking down a long stretch and you shoot out your 2 webs and just yank yourself forward. Oh my god. That feels so good.
There's so many cool additions to traversal beyond the web wings, and one of my favorites is the way you wrap around buildings mid swing. Now, I love doing that one. So cool.
Are you guys playing with fall damage on?
No, I turned that off.
I did not know that.
I mean, that's off by default.
I know it is, yeah, but it's not realistic though, right? Spider-Man dies if he falls 17 stories.
No one said I'm going for like supreme realism. I have it set to 3, Dan.
This isn't DayZ, Dan.
Fair.
All right, Spider-Man 2, good game so far. Not as good as 2018 though. It's consensus for me.
I would agree with that so far.
All right, catch our full thoughts later next month, maybe. I wish Ro was playing it. I'll say that.
I wish Ro was here.
He would know what to do.
He would know what to do.
Ro is here. I still go.
I don't think Ro realizes how often we use that catchphrase. In the middle of a random match of Pummel Party or playing golf with friends.
I was saying I wish Ro was here when you guys were fucking going, man, Peter, come back, Peter, come here.
Genki, are you sure we have permission to use this?
Jesus Christ.
Such a square.
I'm wearing Chelsea boots in present day, so I have to use Chelsea boots in this flashback to know, so you know who I am.
I'm 13 years old and don't have a single piece of hair on my body, but I'm wearing Chelsea boots and a scarf.
45 minutes of this, Ro.
Can I just say, but like really though, Marco is sitting in a box. He is about to get shipped off to Rikers to be violated for the next 10 to 20 years. And Miles Morales looks at this man dead in the face and says, if you need help, just ask.
Yeah.
What does that do to someone?
Turns him into a supervillain.
it's gonna start the cycle over again. He's gonna be thinking about that.
Wait a minute, but to be fair, one of the side missions in the open world is to help him. So literally, you do help him.
Don't get me started on the side missions, man.
You do help him,
like
though.
the side missions.
Wow.
I'm
Have
sorry.
you played the pigeon one?
I enjoyed that one. Very much.
The one with the grandpa.
Yeah, that one's good too. The other ones, not so much. I sent a video clip one to Gage. It made me laugh. I will not be saying this on stream. It was so funny.
There are certain side missions we are not allowed to not like. Let's just put it that way.
Oh my goodness.
Insomniac is so white. It's so funny.
Yes. Sometimes it feels a little bit like Get Out. You know what I mean? Where it's like, this is... You guys are trying really hard.
Yeah.
And let me just say...
Like spray painting.
This is not new criticism, okay? It's spray painting, yeah, exactly. Listen, everyone was loud and clear in 2018. This is a fantastic game, but these walking missions are kind of lame. And then they just recontextualized them for the second one. They didn't get rid of them, so it's not like this is new criticism. We were all on the same page before, but now can't really criticize these ones, I don't think. But they're still walking missions. They're still slowing the pace down unnecessarily.
I enjoy. Wait, are we talking about like the ones where they play as
throw the basketball?
Are we talking about the ones where you do missions as Peter and Miles, like instead of Spider-Man?
And sometimes other supporting characters, yeah.
Oh, I haven't gotten to that, I guess, but
yeah, you'll like it. It's fun. It's real fun.
I like some of those actually.
I did too, Dan. I'm with you.
Okay, thank you.
But it somehow hurts the pacing of this game to have so many of them so early on.
Right.
Okay. Thank you again to everyone joining us live on YouTube and Twitch, as well as podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your pods. Thank you, Roshan. Thank you, me. Thank you, Gage. That's Daniel. And this has been PXN, and we are out.
Much love, and keep on gaming.
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
Thank you, Genki.
Genki, spank me.